Previously on the Beam Chronicles.
I just got off the phone with Mathis and Sparks. They were in Jersey gambling and drinking, but they should be here in just a few minutes.
A scrawny little nothing boy walked up to us.
Sturgis, this is Charlie Shade. Charlie, this is Tim Sturgis.
Howdy. A big fan.
I'm sure.
One of the downsides of working on the branches, all the equalizers lack a certain amount of decorum. And in Sturgis's case, self-respect.
Push a button, Jaxon squeezes, computer records results, repeat.
All this crushing different things to find the gap in your coverage. Someone's gonna use this information to kill you one day.
The navigation for the plane, it's tracking Jaxons.
Those stupid compound eyes must have picked up the energy signature from my telekinesis.
Questopo, warrior, general, and supreme ruler of the Jingari people of Jingar.
For the first time in my life, when I looked at Jaxon, I wanted to harm him. That is when I fell from his grip.
Cidney, how are you?
I do not know, my dear.
These are the Beam Chronicles, with your host, MJ Dooney. Book 3, Cataclysm. Chapter 11, Cidney Kovorski.
Wait, what's his name again? Queso Papa?
Yeah, Murph, Jackson's being possessed by the other dimensional spirit, Cheese Daddy.
Lane sarcastically mocked him. I managed to bring Cal Sparks and Mike Mathis a fit of uproarious laughter while Murphy just grumpily shuffled his mustache. I may have smiled, but Charlie showed no joy. It was the sort of line she normally would have appreciated, but given the circumstances, I had finally just accepted that it would be a rare sight to see her smile for a while. Questopo, Murphy. I corrected him once Cal helped Madman get off the floor.
Right, so we're gonna have to shorten that. Ain't no way in hell I'll remember Questopo. Is Quez okay?
Shit, boss, I'm quite partial to Cheese Daddy myself.
Madman hooted in his thick Cajun accent. Cal sniggered yet again, but the rest of the room was well beyond the joke already. Mike Madman Mathis was not Cajun. I checked his file shortly after meeting him to confirm the man was born and raised in Omaha. Yet somewhere along the line operating the Bayou branch, the way Lane operated west, he picked up the accent. This chameleon-like linguistic ability was not newly developed. He essentially did it wherever he went. Sufficient time in the capital would have him speaking the way we did, and I had even found after he spent excessive time with myself, he would drop the pitch of his voice, eliminate the use of contractions. A strange quirk, but far be it from the strangest thing about the one they called Madman. Like all of the original equalizers, Mathis was a multi-millionaire, yet he looked homeless. He wore a ratty old baseball cap covering his bald head. You would imagine that to be the purpose of the cap, to hide his baldness. But I was not convinced. If that were the case, I would at least expect him to show any fragment of effort toward the upkeep of the rest of his appearance. I figured it had been years since he had shaved his face, or cut the hair he had left spilling out the sides of his hat and hanging to his shoulders. His nose was long and kinked, blatantly broken at multiple times in multiple places, probably without him ever attempting to set it back straight. And balancing ever so dangerously on the tip of that crooked nose was a pair of glasses, small and circular, that I could not fathom him ever being capable of peering through. They must have just been to contribute to his deranged aesthetic. Madman was certainly crazy, but the enjoyable kind of crazy, like a drunk uncle or a dizzy toddler. He was far from reckless, never destructive, never violent or mean, just exactly the sort of man you would expect, knowing that he spoke with a Cajun accent simply because he elected to.
So basically all Quez wants is foon?
Lane brusquely added, after I had finished detailing the results of our scrap a few minutes ago.
Can't we just, I don't know, give him foon then? Juice him up, let him handle all the fighting. Even if Quez wins, all we lose is foon. And it might buy us some trust, a negotiating chip or something.
Foon will kill him if he gets a chance.
Charlie replied coldly, as if that were all the more that needed to be said. And it does not solve the larger problem either. Quez does not strike me as the diplomatic type. If Foon dies, he will continue destroying the world, and if Questopo dies, not only will Jaxon be lost, but Foon will have gotten significantly wet enough to himself destroy the world, maybe beyond the point where we could counter him even with electricity. Foon may have the best odds of defeating Questopo, but it would be a meaningless victory, essentially a battle royale, and the winner attains global supremacy.
swapping apocalypses. And if you don't mind me saying, I'd rather look at Jackson's face for however long we got left than Typhoon's.
It's not Jaxon.
Charlie frigidly corrected him.
I know, Shade, but it's his face, right?
She just looked at her boots, folded her arms, and leaned against the nearest wall. Murphy had effectively and accidentally summarized the entire unruly conundrum in 5 words.
Besides all that, Foon, ain't he the guy who did Vasquez 5 years ago?
Cal Sparks asked, to which I nodded.
All right, stuff it then. Offer that sack of shit no validation, let him die with the rest of us. I'm having a hard enough time compartmentalizing what happened to Caraway today. Don't pile on with that crap right now, too.
I suppose all of the old-school, high-ranking equalizers were fiendishly protective and loyal to their clan, much in the same vein as Ava, probably for the same reasons, but it was possibly the first time I had ever heard Cal Sparks express any sort of remorse over anything. Devil may care. It was a phrase I did not know before meeting him, but one I may have constructed on my own explicitly to describe him. I think part of this reputation had to do with the strange way his resting face curled into a confident smirk, as well as the gradual way he drawled through his sentences, smooth like silk, in no hurry to finish. I had a theory that his rugged, effortless handsomeness contributed to this whole phenomenon as well, somehow. Perhaps there was never much to concern himself with while the world thought he was beautiful, and so he never allowed himself to be concerned until one day, that coolness simply became a habit. And he was bar none the handsomest man I had ever seen. It was often said around the office during my early days with Beam that Cal and Charlie would inevitably wind up together, in spite of a 12-year age gap, forming the perfect power couple of attractiveness. This never came to fruition, partially because Cal got married to someone else, then transferred to run Lone Star, and partially because Charlie fell in love with Jaxon, but most importantly because Charlie could not tolerate him for half of a minute. But Charlie had a tendency to judge people too harshly, and in spite of her contempt, I personally found Sparks to be a genuinely decent fellow, albeit a touch smug. Incidentally, Cal and Mike were best friends, but it was difficult to determine why or how. They were not unlike fire and ice, diametric opposites in just about all phases of life, but I suppose in a way, Sparks contributed a decent amount of balance to Madman, leveling out his erratic behaviors with constant, steady, relaxing calm, while Mathis was the only person who could inspire any sort of rally into Cal's mellow serenity to save him from worry-free boredom. They shared little commonality, but they complemented each other quite nicely. All right, so we are in agreement that releasing Tyler Foon is out of the question? I asked. I scanned the room to find nearly ubiquitous nodding. Murphy, the equalizers, Charlie, even Phil and Enzo off in the corner, even Howard Prophet. But Peter Cranston was scowling malevolently, disgustedly, and I leered at him until he could not contain himself any longer, climbing to his feet.
All right, look, if nobody else is going to say it, then I will.
There's a surprise. You do love talking.
Yeah, make your little jokes, get it all out of your system, that's good, but I am speaking my mind regardless. Help kill me if you want to.
Okay, doke.
Madman stated bluntly, pulling a set of pistols off his belt and aiming both of them at Peter, who in turn whimpered and fell back to the floor.
Mikey, easy.
Sparks grabbed his shoulder with a relaxed tranquility.
He wasn't being literal there, Madman.
Mathis reluctantly holstered his guns as Peter got up, panting and sweating, clutching his chest.
Sorry there, bae. Got to be a bit more explicit with me, eh?
Mike half-heartedly apologized. Peter sighed, catching his breath, then scowling.
Dumbass. Actually, no, you know what? You're perfect for what I'm about to say, Mathis.
Well, thank you kindly.
Not a compliment.
He narrowed his eyes.
I want your opinion on a hypothetical, as a psychopath and all.
Madman nodded, utterly unoffended by the assessment.
Say you blew up the Capitol, and all of your friends stormed up to you at once and asked you why. What sort of story would you make up to explain it?
Sparks cut in to answer his leading question rather soothingly.
He'd probably say something along the lines of, heard Peter Cranston was in the area, wanted to make sure I got him, so I blew up the whole shebang.
I get it, all right?
Peter shouted, throwing out his stubby arms, showcasing the heavy pit stains in his suit.
You all hate me. It's fucking hilarious. But could we maybe put that shit aside for a damn second to talk about, I don't know, the fucking apocalypse? Now look, I say Jackson's insane. You say he's not. But the reason you think he's not insane is that he told you there was an interdimensional alien called Queefy Tacos or whatever the fuck it was, possessing his mind and telling him to destroy the planet. Does that not sound like maybe it's evidence to my theory? Maybe, just maybe, he's a total crazy. Are we not going to give that option any sort of consideration?
As Peter's passionate appeal eased up, the room stood about in contemplative silence for a few seconds. He smiled, thinking that perhaps he had managed to breach the animosity and get his point across, until Cal broke that silence with a light chuckle.
Queefy tacos. Yuck.
Yeah, that was pretty gross, Cranston.
Holy mother, that is what you took away from everything I just said.
Your opinions are irrelevant, Peter. You're a prisoner. Who gives a fuck what you think is going on? There's a combined, 85 years of Equalizer experience in this room, plus the 2 smartest people on the planet. Where do you even get the audacity to have an opinion?
I get the audacity for being the only one who's not completely delusional. Let's face it, up to this point, you've been leading this entire operation, or more appropriately, your snatch has. And everyone just follows along with it because they thought you were dead, and they feel bad for you, and you're pouting just pathetically enough that they don't want to make it worse.
Mike?
Yeah, boss?
Kill him.
Yeah, boss?
Nah!
And again, he pulled out his pair of revolvers, extending them toward Peter.
Whoa, that's what you get. That's what you fucking get.
It doesn't really matter.
Howard Prophet took the chaotic opportunity to grumble his first words since we convened. It was enough to silence the room.
You all know that, right? Which story is the true one, whether Jaxon's gone psychotic or become the meat suit for a pan-dimensional warrior emperor, it's completely irrelevant. Whoever is driving, he's still on a murderous rampage, still destroying the planet. Who cares why? What we do from here, the course of action, it must be the same.
Yes, I flatly granted him. I agree, Howie, but then I believe you and I have very different ideas of what that course of action is. Charlie may have approximated a smile at this sentiment, but it was a crippled one at best. As if she were so sincerely grateful that I would say what I said, insinuating that regardless of circumstances, Jaxon would live. She thought she owed me a bit of happiness, but could only work up to a sorrowful wince. I stepped closer to her, physically demonstrating my support to both Howie and Peter.
Wait, I mean, we are gonna kill him, though, right?
Who in the hell just said that?
Murphy exclaimed, half upset that someone would so brashly suggest the last possible option, half genuinely unaware of where the voice came from. I myself had not even noticed him sitting off to the side behind Lane's hefty Eclipse. And even when she stepped away, it took me a second to recall the man's name. Sturgis, I thought, but I was not perfectly certain. To me, he was unremarkable from all sides, irrelevant and bland. I thought little of him beyond that he was Maria's replacement at Mountain, and Mountain did not cease to exist under his leadership. That was really all the more positive I could say of him.
Sturgis, Tim Sturgis, I run Mountain.
You do? Since when?
Murphy rustled his mustache.
Since Caraway left to take care of Jaxon, it's been a year. God.
He immaturely grumbled the last part, hurt that none of us recognized him. I would have felt bad for him, had he not just so openly suggested the murder of my best friend.
Look, I don't care who you are, we aren't killing nobody.
I mean, respectfully, Mr. Murphy, this is a Beam issue and you're retired. Technically, you don't have anything to say about this.
Technically, you're a little fucking twat and you don't have anything to say about anything.
Look, I just think that given all the destruction he's already caused, I know he's part of the team, but guys, come on. We have a responsibility to stop unruly anomalies. That's what Beam was made for, right?
Madman snorted and covered his mouth to thinly veil his laughter.
Christ almighty, did you just scurry off the farm, little chicken?
You apparently got a lot to learn about what Beam was made for.
Lane scoffed, glaring at Howie. Sturgis held firm in the face of overwhelming opposition, which may have been admirable if it were not so incredibly annoying.
In any case, Cranston's right.
That's a dangerous opinion to have, Rook.
I'm not a rookie. Mountain is the 5th largest branch of Beam, and I'm in charge of it. Stop just ganging up on me and dismissing everything I say.
None of us put much stock in his posturing for respect. Mountain may have been the 5th largest branch, but Lone Star, Bayou, West, and Capital were the top 4. Never mind the additional fact that Murphy, Lane, Madman, and Cal each had 13 years of Equalizer experience before Sturgis's first day. He was grossly out of his league and overestimated his own importance, but still, we let him speak his mind. With a hefty sigh, he continued.
We should at least consider it. This might be the sort of thing we can't find a better solution for, at least not within a practical or useful time frame. If he kills half the population and then we stop him, I mean, that's not really winning. The damage would already be done, right?
You're really this stupid?
Charlie's voice was like venom, her face stoned into the bitterest scowl.
You just talk like this? You'd say this shit in front of me? Let me explain something to you. What was it again?
Sturgis.
I already forgot.
Cal and Mike cackled wildly as she persisted.
I hate Peter and Howie, but Peter and Howie are still alive. And you want to know why? Because I hate Peter and Howie. It gives me joy to see them trapped and subjugated. I've loathed them to the depths of their soul for as long as I can remember, but you, I derive no emotion either way from you. I have no good reason not to kill you. Hell, I just met you 10 seconds ago.
We met 2 years ago.
He sounded so disappointed, like a pitiful child. So sad she had forgotten him, right in the middle of a threat on his life. Sturgis was more than unremarkable. He was a consummate idiot.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was a life-changing moment for half of us. Regardless, don't doubt for a second that I'll kill you before you attempt to lay a finger on Jaxon. It's not happening.
Put it to a vote.
Fuck your own face.
Shade, it's only fair. There's a bunch of us here. We should all have an equal say what we do going forward.
Wrong.
She bluntly denied him.
You want to know why? It doesn't matter what happens. We can vote all you want. We can call a town hall meeting. We can collect fucking signatures on some fucking petition. And regardless of the result, things are going to go exactly the same way.
Look, if most of us think we should kill him...
Then why don't you go do it? Huh? Go right ahead and try, you little ant. Bring 100 men, all the guns you can carry. Raid the armory. He'll massacre you in a split second, without remorse, and he won't even remember your face. Same with all of you. The only 2 people who can kill him are me and Cidney. And no matter what the rest of you say or do, no matter what, we won't.
Okay, well, I think it's up to Cidney whether or not he...
Charlie may speak for me. At the point where she says something fallacious, I will interject. Up to now, nothing has been out of line. A vote would be pointless. I will not kill my brother. She will not kill her lover.
Let's do it anyway. Let's vote.
No, we're not. It's a waste of time.
Charlie.
Mathis gently peered at her over the tiny glasses precariously perched on the end of his skinny, long, crooked nose.
Put it to a vote, babe. Come on now. Promise you won't be pointless.
Fine. Have it your way. You want to dick around while the world gets thrashed? Whatever. Let's vote, team.
Her sarcasm was biting enough to make me cringe uncomfortably.
Get it over with quickly. Who says we kill him?
Only 2 hands shot up. Sturgis's, instantly and eagerly, drooping when he realized his lack of company, and Peter Cranston's, flippantly and sarcastically in the background, because his vote did not count anyway. Charlie looked from Madman to Cal to Lane Rector to Murphy, hands all held firmly by their sides, and she shook her head, a slow smile finally creeping across her face.
You guys,
He's one of us, Shade.
Lane asserted, folding her arms stalwartly.
Some dick from an alternate dimension is controlling his head. I wouldn't shoot him down for all the money in the world, nor the world itself. I'm a little offended you'd think otherwise.
Wow. I didn't realize.
You'd do the same for us, right, Charlie?
Cal smiled his buttery, charismatic smile.
Actually, I don't know if I would.
She almost laughed.
Well, I guess I'm just a better dude than you, huh?
Woo, we are swashbuckling centerfolds, ain't we? Did you also think you could sell the lot of us on a little romantic mole victory, overtaking the fate of the planet psychotic? Damn, Skip, but shoo, they don't call me Madman for nothing.
Thank you, friends. I offered the words Charlie would never construct so directly. All of you, we are touched by your loyalty.
Yeah, anyway, that's settled. And we're done discussing it, so long as the situation is the same, all right, Sturgis?
Got it.
he mumbled, stuffing his hands into his pockets.
But we do gotta do something.
Murphy continued, getting us back on the important tasks.
We should focus our efforts on treating the symptoms since we're SOL tackling the cause for now. People don't know what's coming. We can help them best we can to get them out. Evacuate the most crowded areas. Funnel them into all-beam subterranean places where Quez would have to dig for them, like the dungeon and the oubliette. Plus, all the other tunnels and particle accelerators and shit we got underground for experiments and stuff.
I got a schematic of that.
Phil piped in, mashing his keyboard.
I'm dropping it to all you guys now. Our underground network is pretty damn extensive in case of something just like this. Stretches across the country. Every branch has access to it, so if we can get people to go to Beam facilities, we can keep them somewhat safe until Quez starts excavating.
Ain't big enough to say more, though.
Probably not. What the hell else we gonna do?
It's gonna be total bedlam, Murph. You've been counting the 8 million he killed right out of the box, and however many more he's killed since, we're talking about hundreds of millions of desperate, terrified people scurrying for their lives.
If any organization in history has the bureaucracy in place to coordinate a mass evacuation of the whole fucking country, it's Beam, right? Besides that, I know from experience the three of you thrive in chaos. Not so sure about Sturgis, but, oh shit, sorry.
Murphy suddenly spun around to me.
I didn't mean to step on your toes. I forgot this is technically your show, Big Purple.
So had I. Just as well. It is a good idea, I concurred, stepping back into my leadership role. There is not much else to do at this point, so put it into effect. Start coordinating evacuations of the most populous cities first, his most likely targets, especially those closest to military outposts. Try to get the military to abandon and flee as well. Give them a presidential order. I glanced over at Howie, who simply rolled his eyes and nodded. And move people out by helicopter if they are too far from a bureau building.
Won't he knock the choppers down? If Questopo realizes what we're doing, he's kind of a dick, right? How do we know he's not gonna show up and screw with our procedure?
Oh, I can track him.
Enzo excitedly contributed to the effort for the first time.
I can track Jaxons. I did it years ago, remember?
Enzo, could you help the transportation department track Questopo? Let their controllers route the helicopters and planes around him, steer them clear of his ambush.
Sure. Easy. I must retrieve some of the equipment you confiscated from me during my bust, but I can quite simply set it up once I do.
Good. Go do it. Phil, get him temporary access to the building.
Sure thing, bro.
Knowing his location should also help us better coordinate the evacuations. Move people in big groups and do it briskly while he's not close.
Split the country up as best as you can. Each of you work your own region, since you know the area and the agents we have to take on broader issues. Rector, take the west coast, Mathis southeast, Sparks south central, Sturgis north central, Murphy the northeast. As for international, I know Beam is very poorly received overseas. They will refuse our assistance, especially considering our attachment to the cause of this debacle. But we should at least inform the UN of the issue.
Right.
Murphy nodded, turning to Lane, Cal, and Madman.
We gotta be somewhat diplomatic here. Who of the four of us has the best relationship with the international crowd?
Measured by what metric, Murph?
Oh, how about this? How many times has a UN representative from any country told you to some way go fuck yourself?
7.
Madman confidently beamed, holding up his left hand plus 2 fingers.
9, I reckon.
Cal scrunched up his mouth and scratched an eyebrow.
12 if Kosovo counts.
23.
Lane smugly folded her arms.
24 with Kosovo.
It was not an exaggeration when I said Beam was poorly received overseas.
Shit. I only got 3. I never thought I'd win this booby prize. I'm too sweet and charming, I guess. Okay, I'll make the call. Anything else, Sid?
No, I can count on the 5 of you to handle things as you see fit. Delegate to the agents you trust and so forth, but if an issue does come up, do not hesitate to request my final judgment.
Roger that, big cheese.
All right,
Sparks saluted me, only half as sarcastically as he typically did, and with that, they began departing from Phil's lab, most of them already on their earpieces to relay instructions to their top agents. It felt good to at least be doing something, even if it was a fruitless temporary solution, even if Jaxon, our primary objective, was still no closer to being saved. I turned to my brother next. Phil, did you make any progress on a plan for containing Questopo? He sputtered his lips like a horse, making a jerk-off gesture with his hand.
We got jack shit, man. I hate to say it, but it's seriously bleak. We keep records of everything here, you know that, and other than Howie's thing, which he won't tell us, and Foon, which we've ruled out. There's nothing. No incident of Jaxon failing to teak something that he wanted to.
You checked through all the stuff from that first month here? You know, when we tested the whole catalog of chunks of shit to see if he could crush it. I helped you on the last day, remember?
I noticed her softly fingering the rock she wore around her neck, the one Jaxon had requested I give to her shortly before he lost control of his mind.
We did, Charlie. Enzo and I each reviewed the data twice. There's nothing. I can go through it again, more thoroughly. I'm not sure what else I can do at this point. I don't have any other leads.
Perhaps I have one for you to investigate, Phil. He cocked an eyebrow, urging me to proceed, and so I did. During our brief skirmish with Questopo, he hoisted me into the air telekinetically many times, and the last time he did, I managed to break free of his hold, dropped to the ground.
Seriously?
Indeed.
Fucking how?
That I do not know, but I felt a strange rush immediately before I fell from his grip, like something chilly began to course through my veins. I am not sure how I triggered it. I believe perhaps it was a reflexive response to my impending doom, but nonetheless, after it happened, he was unable to use his telekinesis on me. Phil got that look he tended to get when on the brink of something scientifically relevant. He stroked his chin, furrowed his brow, glared into a specific patch of nothing 2 inches in front of his face.
Kovorski must have built it into you, like you said, a reflex or something. That's not inconceivable, that he developed something immune to the TI and coded it into your DNA. We know he knew about Jaxon since forever, right? He put him into Charlie's brain and stuff. It's totally possible that he gave you some sort of biological process to shield you from the TI.
Shield me in what way?
No idea, but he's brilliant. Centuries ahead of me and Enzo. By the sound of it, it's just a biochemical, like a hormone or something. The trouble is it's so hard to get into your bloodstream and take a sample. Well, with all the K-Pack, impenetrable skin, unless it's in your spit. We're on the surface.
Kovorski's notes. It seems like the sort of thing he probably wrote about somewhere.
Phil snapped his fingers excitedly, bobbing his head at her as he hopped out of his chair.
Yeah, good thinking, Charlie. That's the perfect place to start. Actually, I left a big chunk of those up in Fly's lockup. He's way faster at translating than I am. I think it was mostly the Cidney stuff, too. I should probably go get those before I start pouring through it and then get Enzo to help.
Phil, pressing the button multiple times does not make the elevator move faster.
No, it does for me. The button scans my biometrics. I set it up.
I would have made comment on this rude, strange behavior, but I caught my brother slack when the conquest for knowledge was on the line. It was nice to have those little consistencies during this time of massive flux.
Well, Coach?
Charlie attempted to force a weak smile after Phil departed.
I'm still waiting for my job. You gonna put me in?
She would be a valuable piece to the evacuation plan, given her ability to move important people cross-country in seconds, but the dull paleness of her skin forced me to shelf that for now. I spoke softly so our prisoners across the room on the floor would not hear me, and gently because she required such a tone. You look simply exhausted, my dear.
I'm fine, Sid.
She exasperatedly dropped her thumbnail from her mouth, rolled her eyes.
We're all exhausted. Give me something. Come on, I'm itching for it.
Nonsense. You did not sleep at all last night. We have reached a lull in the action. The evacuation does not require your assistance nor attention yet. Should Questopo attack us again, you would be better off well-rested. We would all be better off with you well-rested.
Sure, but I really don't think I'm going to be able to sleep right now. It's kind of turmoil-y up in my brain, or I guess, well, down in my brain, right?
It seemed every little detail of my life was not precisely how I would have preferred it, and thus every offhand comment brought up something else to fret over. We should move that, incidentally, your brain.
Nah.
Questopo knows where it is, Charlie. He could kill you.
Oh, look, first of all, where the hell are we gonna put it that's more secure than where it is? Short of throwing it on top of a mountain and praying he doesn't start bulldozing mountains, I think it's about as safe as it's gonna get. Besides, if he infiltrates Beam that deeply, 2 miles below the surface of HQ, with Skelton now tracking him so we know when he's close, through you and me, I assume I'm as good as dead already by the time he finds it. On top of that, you heard what he said. He wants me alive. To torture Jaxon.
She uttered it devoid of feeling. It twisted me up, but I could not think of how to fix it. Jaxon was a problem I could not solve, but Charlie was one I could at least somewhat handle. In any case, you are clearly out of sorts. You look like utter shit.
So, maybe that's something you shouldn't say to people, Cid.
She cracked an unwilling, unsteady smile, and I counted it as a tremendous victory. Just take a brief rest. For me, all right? Lay down, try to collect yourself just a little. Go and... I glanced over my shoulder to make sure Cranston and Prophet were not eavesdropping on our conversation. They seemed as far from interested as they possibly could be. Go and smell his pillow. Just for a little, until Phil and Enzo get back to guard our prisoners. Then I will fetch you. We will return to work. Help with the evacuation. Please, take a moment for me. She groaned, but relented, perhaps hoping to be persuaded all along.
Okay, fine. Just until they come back, okay? Page me. I brought my old earpiece.
It still works?
Yeah, it still works.
And she hesitated, but a moment, then suddenly threw her arms around me, hugging tightly.
By the way, just so I don't forget, thank you, Cidney. I don't know what the hell I'd be doing right now without you.
She grouped away before I could respond, likely to avoid breaking her promise about not crying, and left me alone in the lab with only Howie and Peter as company. I had barely managed to find a seat in Phil's computer chair, throwing myself at it with a hefty exhale and swiveling around to face my prisoners before the elder of them addressed me.
Cidney, now that everyone is gone and the showmanship can fade, may I have the opportunity to appeal to you privately?
The groveling, overly polite tone of Howard Prophet's voice supplicating me for attention took me aback. Otherwise, I probably would have dismissed him instantly. Speak quickly, Prophet. He nodded humbly, adjusted the sling his arm was resting in with a slight wince, then sighed and plunged into his attempt to sway me.
Listen, I know that it is a heavy, complex issue. I know there are a plethora of deep emotions involved, and so much at stake. But if you don't kill him...
I will not kill him. Charlie has already made this perfectly clear. I have already stated it myself, but if you need to hear it from the source a second time, so be it. And you may have it again in case you missed it once more. I will not kill Jaxon Teague. No matter what the cause of this, no matter what you say to me, no matter who else dies in the process. I will fall in battle 1,000,000 times over before I kill my brother.
Cidney, he'll end the world.
Then he will end the world. You should have thought of that before you made me love him. He froze for a moment, then chuckled to himself, rubbing the palm of his hand attached to the uninjured arm over his eye, groaning quietly. He slapped it to his lap, smiled softly at me.
I suppose this really is my apocalypse, isn't it?
I ignored him, implying that I agreed. But once he stood up, paced over to the nearest window, I broke my silent statement to call after him. Whichever story is the truth, Questopos or Peters, possessed or insane, as you have said earlier, it is all irrelevant, but for my own peace of mind, for my personal curiosity, and since I am technically in command of this operation, if you have any reason at all to believe one of them over the other, I request that you tell me.
Leadership tip,
he said, gazing out the window.
Don't ever request things that shows weakness.
Very well. I demand it.
Much better, my friend, and I will tell you that I don't know anything for certain anymore, but let's just say...
He shot a gust of air through his nose, a characteristic opportunity in his speaking cadence to pause, arrogantly sip on a glass of whiskey. Obviously he had none, and could instead only tap his knuckles against the window.
Let's just say today was not the first time I've heard the name Questopo.
He stated it calmly, glancing to the ground first, then slowly lifted his head and looked at me askance over his shoulder.
I probably shouldn't say any more than that, though.
Of course. I rolled my eyes at his predictable, cryptic idiocy, even in the face of cataclysm. Thank you, Howie. It felt good to treat him with the amount of scorn I had always wanted to, but all things considered, that was a shallow pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Beam Chronicles, a fiction podcast written and produced by me, MJ Dooney. I don't think this does anything anymore, but Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, 5 stars on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts. Email me, beamchronicles@gmail.com. Send money, buymeacoffee.com/beamchroниv, or click support the show in the episode description. Philosophical mind dump on creativity time. I've had a wild 2 weeks. That's why I missed last Monday for this episode. Sorry, by the way, if I ruined your commute. I've had some crazy health issues to go with some other business. Pokemon Go had a big weekend, which, yeah, I still play that. But I've spent a good chunk of time these 2 weeks talking to my wife about making things and sending them out on the internet to be judged and or ignored by the masses. She's a far more traditionally artistic person than I am, and the most talented and interesting person I've ever met. She has to constantly remind me that what I'm making holds water to what she makes, because it just kind of feels like I'm reading my brain into a microphone and gussing it up with music and sound effects. Sourced from the Epidemic Sound Library, but I'll get to that. But anyway, she's brilliant. She makes real art, tactile art, and it's so marketable and mass appealing and amazing. She built a much more substantial following on social media. So it's Studio, if you want to check out her endeavors. But anyway, yeah, she's incredible. And even she's sort of hit this dry spell of making things that's lasted a few months now, experiences self-doubt, wonders if she'll ever pick up where she left off. I mention it frequently in these outros, but I struggle with that a lot. The little red guy on my shoulder telling me that if I just stop now, the whisper of impact that would ripple through time wouldn't be detected by the finest tuned seismographs. It's like slashing the ocean with a knife, you know? Or Tyler Foon. The water rushes back in to fill the gash before you even convince yourself that you made it. But I don't know. I had some good engagement the last few days. Some Reddit posts, Spotify comments, emails, new TikTok followers. I had 30 plus downloads a day all week, and I didn't even put out a new episode. So thank you if you were a part of that, sincerely. I love the feeling it inspires in me that people want to hear what I'm making up. If you guys want to keep watching me stab the ocean and pretend like I'm making a dent with me, I've done more foolish things to great success. My wife has a saying that she didn't make up, but I love it, so I'm going to share it. The fool didn't know it was impossible, so he did it. I think that attitude is how I got her to fall in love with me in the first place. And I'm nothing if not a fool. All music and sound effects were sourced from the Epidemic Sound Library. Special thanks to Sergio Duarte for creating the cover art for the show, and thanks again for listening.